Welcome to the Back of the Day podcast, and my name is Darrell Stinson. And today we have a special guest with us today. I'm going by the name of Brother Harold, but better known as AKA Junebug back in the day. I'm glad to have you here on the show today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
The first question I want to start out with is, back in the day, you had a dance group that you assembled. I want you to tell us a little bit more about it and how it started and what was the reason behind it and everything. And maybe you can tell us the members of your dance group.
Well, thank you, Mr. Stinson. Actually, the first name that was given to the group was the International Street Dancers. And my sister, Sonia Simpson, she was the manager of it. And then it went on to be like, we was like, dressed up like gangsters and stuff at the time, but then it went on as we got more and more into breakdancing, and as the group expanded, we arrived at the name the Fresh Crew. And the original members of the group, it was myself, Terry, Tate, Raymond Austin, Scott Mackham, and Berlin Shippey. That was the original. Then later on, we added Tiana Bennett and Andre McCullough. And one of our first dance opportunities that we had prior to the starting of the group was Mr. James Anderson took us to his company cookout they had. And he knew we had a little talent. You know, we was practicing on my mom's porch and everything, and he heard about us. So he took us to his company cookout, and that's where it all started.
So with y'all dancing together for the first time, was there any missteps or any mistakes? Was there any mistakes made at the time?
Yeah, dancing together for the first time, that was a couple missteps there. Our first dance, like I said, at that company cookout, we had a little incident. We was training and practicing before we went out, and I can't remember which one of us it was. It probably was me, because I usually was the one when you get ready to do a backwards flip. You know, I was the one that toss you over, right? And I don't know what Scott. I don't know if Scott kind of misstep or what, but it kind of didn't go so well. Yeah, but we got over it, and we went on out there and we performed and had a wonderful time that day, and that started a real close-knit bond for all of us. And like I said, later on, as we started dancing together, we added Tiana Bennett and Andre McCullough and everything, and we was quite aware of the other dancers in the city, such as the Zodiacs, but we kind of had like a neutral understanding with each other. Raymond Foster and them, they focus on the dancing aspect of it, and we was, like I said, we was heading geared towards mostly breaking at the time. So we was breaking and stuff. So we never did. We kind of had a pact that we never would dance against each other, and we never did. So we kind of supported each other, and that that's how that went.
Let us take a commercial break, and then we'll be back with more Back in the Day podcast with your one and only Darrell Stinson.
Welcome to Prevention Intervention, your go-to podcast about avoiding addiction and becoming the best version of yourself. This podcast is brought to you by the Nova Southeastern College of Allopathic Medicine in collaboration with the Florida Blue Foundation. And now, here's your host.
And we are back talking with our guest, Brother Harold, talking about the Fresh Crew back in the day. Now tell us about your dance group, the first big win, what started it all, that jumped it off, that first big win for the Fresh Crew.
Well, our first big win was at the Skate Palace. They had a dance contest that they had been running for on the air, WASC at the time. They was running it a dance contest they had ran for about 2 weeks. A big dance contest. I mean, they hyped it up, made it real big, and we was all excited about that and trying to get ourselves together as what song we gonna dance off of, and so it was a lot of excitement in the air. And we arrived with the song. First it would be Shannon, Let the Music Play, and then we were gonna run it on into Give Me Tonight, and on top of that, make everything go well. We pulled it off. We pulled it off. We pulled it off, and we won that night. So we was all excited about that, and so our next stop would be I-85 skating rink.
So at this time, who was in charge of the group? Who was handling all the things behind the scenes and saying we're gonna do this, we're gonna go here, and everything, and how y'all was getting around and about and everything? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, basically, Mr. Stinson, I was like the CEO of the group. I was the one that got the group together and decided who we were gonna vote in and who was gonna be voted out and stuff like that. And we had Terry Tate. Terry Tate was the driver. He was the one that was able to get the vehicle and carry us around to all the places, all the dance spots, all the places that we need to go. And at that time, Brother Raymond was focusing on his DJing and, so, dancing and DJing and everything. So he was our DJ. And he really, basically, that's it. Just the three of us really for the head of operation of things, for the function of the group and stuff like that. So that's how that went.
So y'all were just well known at the time, huh? Y'all were just celebrities in the city, huh? Yeah. Back in the day, as we call it, I would have loved to seen y'all do y'all thing.
Yeah, I guess you could call us that. Nowadays, I guess you could call us celebrities, celebrity status, superstars. That's what we were. We had got to the place where we would go around different skating rinks, and all the young kids would come up to us and follow us around and hug us and wanted autographs. I think I remember signing a couple autographs or two, especially over there in Gaffney. But anyway, yeah, it was a fun time. It kept us all out of trouble. That was the whole idea of me getting together as a group anyway. To give us something to do and just to keep us out of the streets and keep us out of trouble and everything. But it was all fun and good times. That's what it was, all fun and just a lot of good times.
Well, Brother Harold, we just want to thank you for joining our podcast, Back in the Day podcast today. We thank you for the wonderful interview. We would love to have you back in the near future. Tell us more about that next stop, I-85, and how that went and everything. So with that, we signing off, and we just want to thank you for a great interview, and may you continue to have joy and success in all that you do.
Thanks, Mr. Stinson, for this interview, and I'm more than welcome. Be glad to come back to share more about what happened back in the day, and share more about the next step was I-85. So it's been a joy to sit here and just reminisce for a little bit. Thanks.
And there you have it, people. Back in the Day podcast with your one and only Darrell Stinson. Until next time, keep your head up and keep on living.